Today's news highlights 20250916. Date September 16, 2025. Republic of China September 16, 114. Time cutoff point, 1500 hours on the same day. News highlights. The latest research points out that 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day can help with healthy aging, reduce the risk of chronic diseases and dementia, and the best effect is to drink it in the morning. The polyphenols and tannins in coffee beans are key ingredients, effective in both caffeinated and low in alcohol coffees. However, if sugary drinks are consumed, the chance of healthy aging is greatly reduced. Doctors remind that coffee must be combined with exercise and a balanced lifestyle to delay aging and promote longevity. News highlights. Artist Soon Nalen revealed that there are more than 20 lipomas on his body, the largest of which is 6 centimeters and has been surgically removed. Doctors pointed out that lipomas are mostly benign, with a very low chance of malignancy, commonly found on the back and inner thighs, and some of them will grow larger or affect the fascia over time. If there are a large number, there may be a genetic predisposition. Whether to remove or remove depends on aesthetics or discomfort, and existing liposuction techniques can be treated minimally invasively, but attention should be paid to the integrity of pathological examination. News highlights. Textile experts pointed out that if chemical fiber sportswear is not properly washed or dried, sweat protein and stains are easy to remain, leading to odors. It is recommended to avoid using laundry bags and fabric softeners when machine washing, as fabric softeners can clog fiber pores, reduce sweat wicking, and hide odors more easily. Wash with cold or lukewarm water, and use low temperature for a short time to dry to prolong the function of the clothes and keep them fresh. News highlights. Representatives of the United States and China began 6-hour talks in Madrid, focusing on TikTok ownership and economic and trade disputes. The United States said that progress has been made in technical details, but the major consensus remains to be seen, and whether to extend the period for TikTok's divestment depends on subsequent negotiations. Trump said the negotiations were going well and would speak with Xi Jinping. Experts expect that the substantive results may remain for the Trump-Xi meeting, and the Madrid negotiations will mainly pave the way for subsequent high-level meetings. News highlights. Taiwanese boxer Huang Xiaoan defeated American player Perez 4-1 in the women's 54 kg final of the 2025 World Boxing Championships, winning the third World Championships gold medal in her career, becoming the first boxer in Taiwan's history to be crowned 3 times. She played with an injury and won the championship with perseverance and tactics, and President Lai Ching-te praised her for becoming more courageous as she fights and promised to continue to support the development of sports. Huang Xiaoan has set her next goal for the Asian Games and the Olympics. News highlights. U.S. President Donald Trump pointed the finger at the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk on the left and said that some people have been heavily investigated. He criticized the online applause of the murderer as pathological and did not rule out visa processing for foreigners. Republican politicians have accused the radical left of inciting hatred, but some lawmakers from both parties have also acknowledged that there is a threat of political violence on both sides. The incident sparked calls from some voters for legislation to strengthen media accountability and pushed for the Smith-Mount Act to be renamed the Charlie Kirk Act. News highlights. Sour faux bread has become a fashion symbol due to its health and handmade image, but many sour faux on the market often mix yeast and additives but still label sour faux. The British Real Bread Organization even successfully asked Lidl to change the name of the product. Authentic sourdough contains only flour, water, and salt, no yeast, sugar, or preservatives, and has a short shelf life. Experts remind you to read the ingredients carefully when choosing, and not to judge based solely on appearance and taste. True sourdough comes from independent bakeries or artisanal roasters. News highlights. Experts remind that milk and eggs are not suitable for placing near the refrigerator door, because the temperature on the door is the highest and it is often opened and closed, which can easily lead to spoilage. The correct way is to put eggs and milk in the lower layer of refrigeration, fruits and vegetables are placed in the fresh keeping area, meat and seafood are placed in the freezer. In addition, keeping a distance of 10 centimeters between the refrigerator and the wall, no more than 8 minutes full of food, and less than 20 seconds of picking up items will help save energy and maintain freshness. News highlights. Corn shoots are actually juvenile corn, which has nothing to do with bamboo shoots, have a crisp and tender taste, and are low in starch, and are low-calorie vegetables. The main production areas are Taichung, Zhonghua, Nantou, and Yunlin, and can be harvested all year round. It is rich in potassium, iron, vitamins, and dietary fiber, but it is high in purine, so gout patients should consume it in small amounts. When purchasing, it is advisable to choose items with green leaves, fresh whiskers, or pale yellow and elastic color. Storing in the shell can better maintain sweetness and moisture, and can be stored in the refrigerator for about 1 to 2 weeks. News highlights. Taiwan's defense budget for 2026 is planned to reach $94.95 billion, accounting for 3.32% of GDP, a record high, and it is expected that every 3 yuan of national expenditure will be spent on national defense. Experts reminded that although high military spending has increased deterrence, delays in weapons deliveries and resource crowding are still challenges, and peaceful dialogue is still a long-term security strategy in the Taiwan Strait. News highlights nearly half a century later, rich countries are facing the challenges of low fertility rates and shrinking populations, which may lead to labor shortages and economic concerns, but also create new opportunities for women's employment, resource redistribution, and environmental sustainability. Experts suggest that countries should make good use of technology and human capital to formulate long-term policies to cope with demographic changes. News highlights the world's longest span single-tower asymmetrical cable-stayed bridge has a main span of 450 meters and a tower height of 211 meters. The bridge connects Tamsui and Bali in New Taipei City and is expected to be officially opened to traffic in May next year, which will relieve traffic congestion and promote local development. News highlights recently, some people proposed to postpone the class time of junior and senior high schools from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. to improve students' sleep and learning efficiency, and the number of seconders has exceeded 10,000. The Ministry of Education stated that it would study the proposal and respond before November 14. The National Education Action Alliance reminded that if only the class time is adjusted without reviewing the syllabus and supporting facilities, it may compress teaching and affect the quality of learning. News highlights the new session of the Legislative Yuan debuted, and the DPP reorganized its formation after the August 23 recall. However, the party is still worried that the policy will not be able to make the people feel it, and the information gap between the central and local governments and the high concentration of leadership styles have limited team discussion and collaboration, which has become a challenge for the new ruling team to overcome. News highlights Gigi, Wu Yingxia, celebrated her 36th birthday last month, but did not invite her friend Erin Yan, which caused rumors that the two unfollowed each other on IG. Although they have experienced many misunderstandings and awkwardness, the friendship between the two is still deep for more than 10 years, and the outside world speculates that they may reconcile soon this time, but the relationship has once again become the focus of discussion. News highlights Chi County Councillor Cai Zhenji was suspected of laundering money for an international gaming group and was detained by the Kaohsiung Quoto District Prosecutor's Office. He and his Chinese wife Tang Sarong were accused of being the masterminds behind the scenes, using cross-border head accounts and virtual currency operations to launder more than 200 billion yuan. News highlights the latest poll shows that Lai Rulong has the highest support in the DPP in the 2026 Kaohsiung mayoral election, ranking first in terms of intra-party comparison or comparison with the Kuomintang's KZN. Lin Dehua fell to third place due to the impact of the lawsuit, Su Zhija followed Lai Rulong, and Chu Yiying lagged behind. The DPP is facing a strong challenge from the blue camp, and the election layout still needs to be actively adjusted. News highlights former Taipei Mayor Kei Wen's was involved in the Jinghua City volume case and political donation case, and was released on bail of 7,000 yuan after nearly 1 year of detention. Kei's mother, He Ruying, was moved to tears, glad that she did not have to raise bail again, and mentioned that Kei Wen's body was affected after being released from prison and he still had to deal with judicial procedures, but the mother and son would continue to visit each other. News highlights a 16-year-old male student stabbed a male classmate twice in the back with a fruit knife during class, but fortunately his life was not in danger. The perpetrator was transferred to the juvenile court on suspicion of attempted murder and intimidation, and the court ruled to take him into custody that night. News highlights Zhubei Crane King Hu Hanluan has an annual income of 3 billion. And his Kai-Tak machinery lifting company ranks among the top 3 in Asia, with 4 wives and 14 children, which has sparked discussion. Netizens pointed out that under Taiwan's monogamy, he has only one legal spouse, and the rest are partners or unregistered, and his living arrangements are still concerned. News highlights a girl refused to go to bed with her boyfriend due to candida infection, and her boyfriend responded with "My mother said that messing around will make you sick," which caused a dispute. After the incident was exposed, netizens praised the girl's approach and criticized her boyfriend for being brainless and inconsiderate. News highlights following the Ministry of Commerce's tariffs on the dumping of 4 U.S. chip factories, it launched an antitrust investigation against Nvidia, intending to increase its bargaining chips. Although the proportion of localization in China's AI chip market is expected to increase to 55% in 2027, and Nvidia chips are still favored by companies such as Huawei and Cambrian, major manufacturers such as Alibaba and Baidu have begun to use their own chips to train AI models, which may gradually weaken Nvidia's market influence in China. News highlights OpenAI Chairman Taylor acknowledged that the AI industry is bubbling, with excessive capital inflows, high valuations, and public attention exceeding actual results, but emphasized that there is no need to panic. He compared the AI boom to the dot-com bubble of the 90s, believing that although some companies have gone bankrupt, the long-term potential of technology is still there, potentially changing industries and bringing benefits to consumers, just as the internet gave birth to e-commerce and online banking. News highlights the market expects the Fed to cut interest rates, but the focus is on Powell's speech and the outlook for subsequent interest rate cuts. If the interest rate is cut in an eagle style, there is a short-term fear of a shock pullback. If interest rates are cut slowly, there is still room for performance in the medium and long term of the stock market in the fourth quarter. Even if Taiwan stocks pull back, they can still stay above 24,000 points. News highlights TrendForce pointed out that the large amount of AI data has pushed up the demand for data center storage, the supply of nearline HDD is in short supply, and the shipment of large-capacity QLC SSDs is expected to explode next year, and Taiwanese manufacturers Phison, ADATA, Transcend, Apacer, etc. will benefit. QLC SSDs have high performance, power savings, and strong demand in the enterprise-level market, driving up prices. News highlights: despite the uncertainty of the global economy, the demand for semiconductor talents continues to rise, especially in manufacturing, R&D, and operation and maintenance, with a vacancy of more than 2 people, and the rise of green processes and the circular economy has driven the demand for green-collar talents. The industry recommends cultivating local talents, industry-academia cooperation, international links, and attracting new talents to join to ensure that talent supply supports the sustainable development of the industry. News highlights: extreme weather and biodiversity loss are threatening global food security, and Taiwan's low self-sufficiency rate and high concentration of agriculture and fisheries have exacerbated systemic risks. Enterprises can strengthen natural capital management, build resilient operations, and innovate circular economy models through the TNFD framework, while governments should improve policies and green financial systems to jointly address the dual crises of climate and food to ensure sustainable development. News highlights: the fire at the Taiwan cement ternary battery plant highlights the insurance challenges in the energy storage industry. Insurance brokers need to fully disclose risks, quantify scenarios, provide alternatives, and avoid information asymmetry. Fire insurance is a catastrophic risk. The policy structure is more important than the total sum insured, and asset preservation is related to the survival of the enterprise. Due to the complexity of the system, the small scale of the project, and the unclear safety regulations of behind-the-meter energy storage, there is still no unified insurance plan, and it is necessary to negotiate and coordinate with banks and equipment suppliers to strive for reasonable protection. News highlights: the global aging population is driving the issue of corporate succession, and the proportion of business owners in Japan, the United States, and Taiwan is increasing, but most of them have no succession plans. Patagonia designates corporate earnings to non-profit organizations through the Mission Trust to ensure that the founder's philosophy continues and takes into account sustainable development. Employee stock ownership plans, ESOPs, can also improve employee engagement, retention, and corporate performance. This governance model demonstrates that integrating employees and stakeholders into the corporate structure can achieve long-term CO prosperity and mission continuity. News highlights: 37-year-old actress Lu Pinyin married her 33-year-old husband Lian Chenxiang and was 7 months pregnant, and was shortlisted for the Variety Award Host Award. She carried a 15 Hermes bag on her shoulder and a pregnant belly to attend brand events, and she always disclosed 260 Mercedes pickup and drop-off, making her wife happy. The couple interacts sweetly, balancing work and pregnancy, showing warm daily life and fashionable mommy style. News highlights: the latest polls show that in the 2026 Kaohsiung mayoral election, the competition within the DPP is fierce, and legislator Lai Rulong is temporarily in the lead, 3.3 percentage points higher than the Kuomintang's possible candidate KZN. The intra-party comparison is also in a tug-of-war, with Lai Rulong leading Lin Dehua by 25.9% and 25.2%, and is considered the most likely to represent the DPP in the election, 30.3%, indicating that the blue-green election situation is still variable. News highlights: after K. Wen's, former chairman of the People's Party, paid 70 million bail, the Beijing Procurator's appeal was remanded by the High Court for further ruling, and the Beijing People's Court upheld the original bail ruling on the 15th. Zai Bengqiao of the People's Party proposed an 8-point vernacular translation for the change of judgment, emphasizing that whether to detain or not is decided by the court. Important witnesses have been questioned, 7,000 bail is sufficient, and witnesses who have not been summoned are not allowed to be contacted. News highlights: the chairman of the Kuomintang will be re-elected on October 18, and legislator Luo's Haiqiang, former legislator Zhang Luan and Sun Wen School principal Zhang Yazhong have received the form for registration. Luo's Haiqiang today, 16, received the support of former President Ma Ying-jeou, who praised him for being born in a Keelung working family, with complete political experience, and good at election campaigns and community operations, believing that he could lead the Kuomintang to change generations and return to power. News highlights: Taipei City Councilor Huang Yingying recently unpacked the internal facilities with internet celebrity 2Chill to unpack the internal facilities, and the large balcony overlooks the 101 fireworks, which caused heated discussions among netizens. Huang Yingying said that this is the result of former Mayor K. Wen's insistence on housing justice during his 8-year tenure, and promised to continue to supervise social housing policies in the council to make housing justice the real happiness of citizens. The social housing includes a variety of facilities such as a child care center, an outpatient center, a women's empowerment center, and a sun care center for the elderly, with room types ranging from 1 to 3 bedrooms, and the public space is comparable to that of a luxury house. Netizens thanked K. Wen's, believing that only a Bei can do it, and strongly supported his social housing achievements. News highlights: Jay Zhou celebrated his mother Yehumay's birthday yesterday, 15th, and Kunling, makeup artist Du Ji and Golden Bell double finalist Ah Ken were present to cheer up. Ken was humorous and funny, making Joe's mother smile, and Joe also shared the video, showing a warm and happy family atmosphere. News highlights: the fire in Kaohsiung Xingda Power Plant's new gas unit 2 on the 9th was preliminarily determined to be a leak caused by a loose natural gas pipeline flange gasket. Power clarified that the relevant flanges are supplied by GE, produced in Australia, South Korea, and Singapore, and there are no Chinese goods, and will conduct a comprehensive inventory of pipelines and flanges to strengthen construction inspections to ensure the safety of the unit. News highlights: the American Institute in Taiwan, 8, and the State Department stated that the Cairo Declaration, Potsdam Declaration and San Francisco Peace Treaty did not determine Taiwan's final political status, accusing China of deliberately distorting documents to coerce Taiwan. China strongly refuted, saying that Taiwan has been Chinese territory since World War II, and criticized 8 for using Taiwan to contain China, pushing Taiwan to the brink of war. News highlights: Dawon Mayor Zhang Shanzhang recalled his mother's experience of losing his mother due to dementia many years ago, but fortunately found it near his home. He described the past 20 years of caring for his mother with dementia as a long farewell, reminding his family that it is difficult to prevent loss, and called for early genetic testing and strengthening of loss prevention facilities to reduce the physical and mental burden on family members. News highlights: nutritionist Gao Minmin reminded that there are also bad habits of drinking water, such as drinking too little, drinking too much at once, not drinking on cold days, drinking before going to bed, using drinks instead of water, or drinking after exercise. It is recommended to drink water in divided portions, choose the right water quality, measure about 3%-4% of your body weight every day, and hydrate moderately according to your physical condition to truly maintain health. News highlights: Air India's air crash in June killed 241 people, and only Indian-British passenger Ramesh miraculously survived. He suffered injuries to his chest, eyes, and feet, and his brother died instantly. 3 months after the incident, he was still afraid to fly due to psychological trauma, and his family was worried that he would never be able to return to the UK. News highlights: with the 3 major holidays of Teachers' Day, Mid-Autumn Festival, and National Day approaching, Taitung's 5-star hotels are supported by groups and repeat customers, with an occupancy rate of more than 80%, and only 4-50% of small and medium-sized hotels. Pingtung Kenting and Xiaoliaoqiu are expected to have an average occupancy rate of 6-70% due to the recovery after the typhoon, and late bird bookings can still boost the overall performance. News highlights: a man surnamed CAO was reported for suddenly stopping for 25 seconds in front of him after overtaking at high speed in Xiangshan district, Hsinchu in September last year, and was fined 24,000 yuan. CAO Nan claimed that he mistakenly thought that he had collided with the other party's vehicle and had lower back pain and could not get out of the car, but the judge investigated the images and diagnostic certificates and found that his statement was unacceptable and rejected the request to revoke the fine. News highlights: in the 8 o'clock TV show Good Luck Comes, Jin Wen improvised a cappella of Li Zuxin's Zia Feng Zhu Feng, and was asked by Guoqi Music for a 5 yuan licensing fee from the TV station. Kuahe Music emphasized that copyright requires prior authorization, and announced that it would donate all to public welfare, calling on the industry to pay attention to the rights and interests of music creation, and encouraging non-commercial use to indicate the source for legal use. News highlights: after millions of YouTubers crowdweight Andy broke up with Jianing last year, they went to court over the company's accounts and tax evasion. Jianing sued his mother Zhang Shuai as a supervisor, which aroused heated discussions among netizens. Recently, statistics showed that Taiwan's YouTube videos had the most likes, and most of Jianing's videos were on the list, but the champion was the 89 textbook music video How to Love You Really Plum. Andy also registered a number of trademarks to protect his interests. News highlights: TSMC's European factory is located in Dresden, Germany, and Taiwan's semiconductor supply chain has set up logistics and warehousing in UST, Czech Republic, to support TSMC and enter the European market. ON Semi of the United States also invested $2 billion to build a silicon carbide chip factory in the Czech Republic, and Toyota and Denso simultaneously deployed automobile and battery production. Due to its location in the core of Europe, low labor costs, and strong industrial base, the Czech Republic has a historical manufacturing tradition, and in recent years, it has developed semiconductor and high-tech industries, and is regarded as a key hub in the European chip triangle, focusing on mature processes for automotive and industrial control chips, becoming a reliable base for the European supply chain. News highlights: Taiwan's per capita GDP in 2025 is expected to surpass South Korea for the first time, mainly due to the centralized layout of semiconductor wafer foundry, the government's strong support for the AI industry, and the retention rate of high-quality talents is better than that of South Korea, allowing Taiwan to continue to create new economic momentum and drive exports and economic growth. News highlights: a 52-year-old woman in Hangzhou, Zhejiang, China, stepped on a container containing highly corrosive hydrofluoric acid while walking, causing extensive skin contact and cardiopulmonary failure. The police are tracing the source, which has aroused netizens' concern about negligence in the management of dangerous goods. News highlights: the Taipei Aerospace and Defense Exhibition will open on the 18th, and the Chinese Academy of Sciences will exhibit the Qiangbo missile system for the first time, with an interception altitude of more than 70 kilometers, surpassing the active Tiangong 3 and the US-made Patriot 3, demonstrating MIT's defense science and technology strength. The first phase will mass-produce 2 systems, a total of 128 missiles, with a budget of 366 billion yuan, and the M1A2T tank and multiple types of heavy equipment will also be exhibited at the same venue. News highlights GD, Chuan's Hailong, announced that he will sing 2 consecutive performances at the Taipei Dome on November 1 and 2, with ticket prices ranging from 1,980 to 8,980 yuan, and there will be no price increase for all seats. Official members can register for the lottery starting today, and then the priority and general lottery will be held according to the schedule. This concert will be presented in international standards, bringing a shocking audio-visual experience to Taipei fans. News highlights Fan Wiki was originally scheduled to sing in Anshan, Liaoning, China on September 13, and the organizers announced the postponement due to stage installation problems, but netizens questioned that it was actually caused by poor box office. The venue can accommodate 4.5 people, only the lowest ticket price is sold out, and the highest ticket price is only about NT $3,700, and sales are still dismal. News highlights YouTuber Lu Liying was beaten by a strange man in Hongdae, Seoul, South Korea, for refusing to send her home and stopping the harassment, causing a conflict that resulted in a broken finger and multiple bruises. Lu Liying said that she would examine the injury and officially report the case, calling on the outside world not to review the victim. News highlights American actor Eric Dane announced that he suffered from ALS, and his right hand has lost its function, which may affect his whole body movement in the future. He was originally scheduled to attend the 20th anniversary of the Emmy Awards with his friend Jesse Williams of The Anatomy, but was temporarily absent due to illness. Eric lamented that his condition was deteriorating rapidly, and the most he couldn't let go of his 2 young daughters. News highlights the 37-year-old mainland actor Yu Hazy fell to his death, leaving behind 2 dogs, causing netizens to worry. After receiving a large number of private messages, actress Lee Kinkin said that if the family needs it, she is willing to adopt and take proper care of it, and hopes that the outside world will respect the family's arrangements. She once adopted the dog of the late Hong Kong star Zhou Haimei, and her kind deeds once again touched netizens. News highlights when Kid was recording Play Big in Palau, he recalled his late friend Xiaogui, Huang Hongsheng, and lamented that he would set foot on Star Elephant Island again after 7 years, but the scene was still without the company of the little ghost. Coinciding with the 5th anniversary of the death of the little ghost, he commemorated the friendship between the two with World Like Day and posted a photo of the little ghost, which made fans have a sore nose after watching it. News highlights Kay Wenz was detained for nearly a year and lost his physical strength and muscles, and the special assistant suggested that he go to the Genghis Khan gym to exercise, but Kay actually responded, "I don't want to go to Genghis Khan, I want to go to the curator." I don't know if the two are actually the same family, which made Huang Qiaokang laugh unstoppably during the live broadcast, causing heated discussions among netizens. News highlights TSMC's market value soared to $1.355 trillion, about NT $41 trillion, ranking 9th in the world, surpassing Tesla to become the only Taiwanese company on the list. Supported by the demand for AI chips and advanced processes, foreign investment continues to increase. The top 3 in the world are led by Nvidia, Microsoft, and Apple, while Alphabet jumped to 4th place by more than $3 trillion. News highlights Kay Wenz was photographed in the same car as witness Chen Zaihan, triggering the prosecution to protest and list her as the #1 war criminal. The Northern People's Court ruled on the 15th to maintain a bail of 70 million, and confirmed that Chen was only a witness on the evidence list and not a restricted contact object. Chen Zaihan admitted in an interview that he was relieved and criticized the prosecution for listing 300 people who did not need to be summoned as important witnesses, believing that there was a suspicion of expanding powers. News highlights the illegal mining of sand and gravel in Meinong, Kaohsiung, caused controversy, and Kuomintang legislator KZN led a team to investigate but was accused of being in the same frame as the landlord involved in the case. Zhang clarified that his political donations were legal, criticized K for exaggerating and hyping up the Meinong Grand Canyon, emphasized that the city government had already inspected and fined in accordance with the law, and accused the Blue Camp of interfering with the investigation and spreading falsehoods. News highlights the Kuomintang chairman election will be held on October 18, forming an 8-grab-1 situation, and legislators Luo's Haiqiang, Zhang Luan, and Zhang Yazhong have received votes to run for election. Recently, the Chinese media Today's headlines frequently supported Zhang Luan, triggering Chinese little pinks to follow the trend and leave messages, and it was reported that she temporarily ranked first in the polls, which attracted the attention of scholar Shen Rongqin, who believed that there may be Chinese media influence or operation behind it, which set off heated discussions on the internet. News highlights the American Institute in Taiwan reiterated that Taiwan's sovereignty is undecided, pointing out that the Cairo Declaration and the Potsdam Proclamation did not determine Taiwan's final status, and the U.S. State Department recognized this position, emphasizing that the Taiwan Strait issue is not China's internal affair, demonstrating support for Taiwan and leaving the right to decide sovereignty to the Taiwanese people. News highlights singer Chen Fengyu, Kimberly, recently shared hot and avant-garde outfit photos on social platforms, with an asymmetrical hollowed-out design on the upper body and a short diagonal miniskirt on the lower body, showing perfect body proportions, attracting enthusiastic comments from netizens to praise her, and she also revealed that she maintains a healthy figure through fasting and exercise. News highlights former People's Party chairman Kei Wen's was released on bail for the second time on the 15th, and the next day the Taipei District Court continued the trial of the political donation case, summoning high school classmate Li Wenzong and others to clarify the financial flow during Kei's tenure. The prosecution accused Li Wenzong of accepting bribes and embezzling political donations and sought multiple prison sentences, while Kei and his lawyer emphasized that the relevant charges were unjust and the investigation was completed. News highlights TSMC ex-dividend of 5 yuan today, filled the interest at the opening and rushed to 1,275 yuan, an increase of 2%, driving the weighted index up more than 200 points. This is TSMC's 19th second interest filling, indicating that the market is still confident in the economy and the company's prospects. News highlights director Chen Yushin publicly criticized her ex-husband Jason in a social story yesterday, 16th, accusing him of cheating with his assistant for 20 years during marriage, and reminded the crew not to believe his resume. The two ended their 25-year marriage in 2023, and Chen Yushin once generously wished everyone is well, but now she is suspected of having conclusive evidence and is emotionally denouncing her ex-husband for being unfaithful. News highlights internet celebrity Lu Liying was recently accosted and beaten by a man in Hongdae during a recent trip to South Korea. She restored her experience on YouTube, accusing the police of not being active in handling it, and the surveillance camera was not brought out, and she only reported the injury the next day, but still emphasized that she did not hate South Korea because of this. News highlights the Meteorological Administration issued a high temperature warning for Taipei and New Taipei, and Wuge reached 39 degrees, making it the hottest area in Taiwan. According to expert Lindine's analysis, it is mainly due to the basin effect, urban heat island effect, westward extension of the Pacific high pressure and reduced moisture, making it difficult to dissipate heat and intensifying solar radiation, resulting in continuous high temperatures in the greater Taipei area, reminding the public to protect themselves from the sun and hydrate. News highlights actress Zhang Zuping accused Gong Yiding, the son of former Vice President Gong Meifu of Sanli, of sexual assault, and after yesterday's retrial, the Beijing prosecutor's office ordered him to post bail of 100 yuan, restrict him from leaving the country, and send his mobile phone to forensic examination on charges of obstructing sexual autonomy and sexual privacy. Gong Yiding appointed Chen Mingfeng, the former chief prosecutor of the Shilin District Prosecutor's Office, to defend him, which attracted attention from the outside world. News highlights at a critical moment in the Sino-US trade negotiations, China announced that Nvidia's acquisition of Mellanox in 2020 violated antitrust laws and could face a fine of up to 10% of annual revenue. The move was seen as a signal of pressure from Beijing on the United States, highlighting China's use of market power to gain an advantage in negotiations while accelerating domestic semiconductor self-sufficiency. News highlights although AI has changed the marketing industry, Forbes pointed out that 5 major positions are still irreplaceable, including digital marketing managers, brand managers, marketing data analysts, content strategists, and SEO experts, because these jobs require human strategy, creativity, and judgment to assist AI to maximize its effectiveness, with salaries ranging from about $6.5 to $13 in the United States. News highlights U.S. President Trump suggested on the 15th that listed companies change to semi-annual reports to reduce regulatory burdens and encourage long-term operations, and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, said it was already under discussion. The current rule is still to publish quarterly reports, and amendments only need to be approved by a majority of SEC members without congressional approval. News highlights a 40-year-old woman in Taichung was injured by her boyfriend's throat last night, bleeding profusely, and fled to a convenience store for help, while her boyfriend was sent to the hospital in a coma at home. The police preliminarily determined that the two had a dispute due to emotional and life frictions, and are currently conducting domestic violence and suicide reporting investigations at the same time. News highlights former People's Party chairman Kei Wen's was involved in the Jinghua City case and the embezzlement of political donations, and was released on bail of 70 million yuan after 1 year of detention. Kei Wen's went to the North Court this morning, 16th, to hold a court session, and when asked by reporters whether he agreed to suspend the protests, he did not respond and only got in the car to go to the court. News highlights the Tamjiang Bridge will be closed today, 16th, connecting Tamsui and Bali, and is expected to be officially opened to traffic on May 12 next year, becoming a new landmark on the north coast and improving traffic. Fortunately, thanks to King's support and Lu Sunling's active pursuit of the budget, the bid was finally successfully awarded and the key connection of Taiwan's ring road network was completed. News highlights the DPP accused the Kuomintang of forcibly passing the amendment to the Fiscal Revenue and Expenditure Division law last year, resulting in an error in the calculation formula, and the amount allocated by many counties and cities did not increase but decreased, resulting in the central government giving 4,165 billion yuan to local governments. 345 billion yuan could not be distributed. The DPP named Kuomintang legislators Chen Yuzhen, Fu Kunkai, Lin Siming, and Wang Hongwei as responsible, and criticized the bill for being full of loopholes and damaging the fairness of urban and rural areas and outlying islands. News highlights. Meteorological expert Xu Xingxing pointed out that from today, 16th, to the 28th, the environment is favorable for typhoons, and typhoons may form from the South China Sea to the eastern coast of the Philippines on Thursday and Friday. Taiwan's rainfall will be unevenly distributed in the next week, with local brief showers in the mountains, south, and eastern Huadong in the afternoon. From late September to mid-October, the overall rainfall is heavy, and the public needs to continue to pay attention to the weather and typhoon dynamics. News highlights. A female patient with liver cancer was found to have excessive PFAS in her body after surgery, which is suspected to be related to scratches and non-stick pots at home. Physician Lu Boren pointed out that PFAS are found in non-stick pan coatings, paper cups, waterproof materials, cleaning products, and drinking water, and can accumulate in the blood and liver, increasing the risk of liver disease and liver cancer. He recommends replacing scratched pots, choosing stainless steel or ceramic pots, reducing the use of paper containers, and maintaining a healthy diet and lifestyle habits to reduce the risk of exposure. News highlights. Meteorological expert Xu Xingxing pointed out that the environment is conducive to typhoon formation from the 16th to the 28th, and there is a trend of typhoon formation from the South China Sea to the eastern coast of the Philippines on the 18th and 19th. From late September to mid-October, there will be a lot of rainfall, and all parts of Taiwan should pay attention to the afternoon showers and the impact of the typhoon's peripheral circulation, especially in the south and eastern part of Huadong. News highlights. TSMC, 2,330, ex-dividend on the 16th, with a dividend of 5 yuan per share and a total amount of 1,296.6 billion yuan, hitting a record high, rising to 1,265 yuan at the opening and successfully filling the interest in seconds, once rushing to 1,280 yuan, driving Taiwan stocks to rise more than 200 points in early trading to a new high. The company also announced a dividend of 5 yuan per share in the second quarter, supported by both stock price and fundamentals, and the annual EPS is expected to exceed 59.5 yuan, and the market is still confident in the follow-up attack. News highlights. When the rise of leading stocks is too high, funds will turn to targets of the same group and lower valuations, forming a price comparison effect to make up for the rise. Taking Delta, 2,308, and Lite-On, 2,301, as examples, the rise of leading stocks attracts attention, and the stock price rises with the theme and bullish catalyst, and investors can seize the next wave of dark horses to make up for the rise through the theme times catalyst times low level. News highlights. The Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates at this week's meeting, driving a boom in Taiwanese bond ETF trading, with 00937B, 00679B, and 00687B all exceeding 200 billion yuan. The market believes that interest rate cuts are beneficial to long-term government bond ETFs, and capital gains are expected to be obtained in advance. Fund operation suggestions include the layout of U.S. bonds, investment-grade bonds, and non-US dollar assets to grasp interest rate cuts and policy trends. News highlights. The United States and China recently held the fourth round of trade negotiations, and the two sides reached a preliminary framework agreement on TikTok, but the details must be finalized after the phone call between Trump and Xi Jinping on Friday, and TikTok is temporarily exempted from forced sale or banning. The tariff suspension may also be extended, but Nvidia's antitrust investigation by China has raised concerns in the United States, and the overall negotiations are optimistic, but there has been no significant progress. News highlights. The new session of the Legislative Yuan will prioritize the extension of the electric vehicle license tax exemption and excise tax bill, and the Ministry of Finance proposes to extend it for 5 years until the end of 2030 to meet the 2050 net zero emission goal. Exemption from license tax and excise tax for electric vehicles allows car owners to save considerable costs, and encourages Chinese people to purchase low-pollution vehicles, promoting the development of the electric vehicle industry and sustainable policies. News highlights. The Tamkang Bridge completed the closing ceremony today, 9/16, with a total length of 920 meters and a main span of 450 meters, making it the world's largest span single-tower asymmetrical cable-stayed bridge, symbolizing that the project has entered its final stage. According to the Ministry of Transportation, the bridge is expected to open to traffic in May 2026, and art season activities will be held before the opening, and there are still 6 operations to be completed, including bridge deck laying, cable force adjustment, and landscape lamp post installation, which will become a new landmark in Taiwan after completion. News highlights. Kei Wen's, former chairman of the People's Party, was detained for 364 days due to the Jinghua City case, and was released on bail of 7,000 yuan for the 4th time yesterday, while Ying Xiaoei, a member of the North City Council, was released on bail of 3,000 yuan. The Northern People's Court summoned Li Wenzong, the CO defendant and former chief financial officer of Kei Jingban, to testify to clarify the controversy over the suspected misappropriation of funds from the Zhongwang Foundation to pay the salaries of People's Party members. Li Wenzong emphasized that it is legal for foundation members to work part-time. Ke Zheng cried out for his injustice, and the Beijing prosecutor's office will discuss whether to protest and post bail. News highlights: after Kuomintang legislator KZN and landlord Shi Lijun met to investigate, Shi Lijun was ordered by the prosecution to pay 100 yuan bail for illegally stealing farmland, triggering a blue-green air exchange. DPP lawmaker Zheng Menchu and candidate Zhang Yili criticized KZN for lying and then overturning, pointing out that the son of the former People's Dai of the Blue Camp introduced the Pingdong illegal mining group into Mainang, and the son of a certain Blue Camp village chief was dissatisfied with the benefits and reported everywhere, and questioned whether KZN accepted the petition. News highlights: Quanta Sun Company and collaborative robot manufacturer Daming, 4,585, will be listed on September 26 with an underwriting price of 238 yuan, an emerging market closing of 668 yuan, and a potential profit of 43 yuan. The company has sold 1.8 robotic arms worldwide, unveiled the first domestically produced AI humanoid robot TM-Splore-I, and will use the NVIDIA Jetson Thor platform to target the semiconductor, electronics, and automotive manufacturing industries. News highlights: in a digital, multitasking workplace, frequent distractions keep us busy but inefficient, which can easily lead to fatigue and burnout. Research shows that work interruptions can weaken concentration and intelligence, wasting a lot of effective time. By detecting distractions, formulating countermeasures, and dismantling tasks, you can enhance your in-depth work capabilities, allowing you to focus on high-value tasks and make concentration a key asset for improving efficiency and competitiveness. News highlights: yesterday, 15th, there was a spectacular lightning show in Tainan and Kaohsiung in the evening, with a total of more than 3,000 lightning strikes from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., of which 1,295 times were the most frequent from 5 to 6 o'clock. Since most of them are discharges in the clouds, the thunder is not loud. Meteorological experts pointed out that afternoon heat convection will lead to lightning, and the south will still be prone to afternoon thunderstorms in the next 2 days, so people should bring rain gear when going out. News highlights: a man in Nantan, Taichung, illegally overrouted a bicycle in the early hours of the morning, was stopped by the police and found to be driving without a license, and was issued 3 tickets, overline, unlicensed, and red line illegal parking. The man was dissatisfied with the video and uploaded it to the internet, but was bombarded by netizens and became the focus of the trial. News highlights: the well-known yogurt brand Swifang Fresh Fruit Yogurt was boycotted by netizens for supporting the controversy between internet celebrity Chen Yi and the four-pronged cat, and the fan page posted late at night today, 16th, "Is the internet army all gone?" The post once again sparked public outrage. Although the article was urgently deleted and an apology statement was issued, it was still criticized by netizens for pumping oil to put out the fire, and the public relations crisis continued. News highlights: Zhang Chunyue, chief prosecutor of the Kwoto District Prosecutor's Office, led a team to investigate the illegal sand and gravel mining in the Mainang Grand Canyon and found that the land was seriously damaged. Most of the illegal operators are foreigners, and the operation was suspended after the media was exposed, and Zhang Chunyue promised to thoroughly investigate the illegal groups to protect the rights and interests of residents. News highlights: nutritionist Huang Ye reminded that delivery drinks, especially those containing fresh milk or soy milk, should never choose to iced, otherwise it will easily deteriorate under high-temperature transportation, which may lead to abdominal pain, diarrhea, and even food poisoning. It is recommended to drink it within 1 to 2 hours and avoid prolonged exposure to high temperatures to ensure safety and optimal taste. News highlights: meteorological experts pointed out that the South China Sea and the waters from the east to the Ryukyu Islands in the Philippines are currently in a low-pressure zone, which is conducive to the formation of a tropical system. From the 18th, there will be low-pressure development in the Bashi Strait and the northwest waters of Guam, which may bring rain to the southeast and south. News highlights: some stores in Ximanding, Taipei, sell Dadayo Yao that imitates male genitalia, claiming to be Taiwanese souvenirs, causing netizens to complain about vulgarity and indecency, and worrying about affecting tourism and children's cognition. Some people reported it through the complaint system, and some people thought it was interesting to foreign tourists, indicating that this product still has a market. News highlights: a 65-year-old man surnamed Zhang arranged laparoscopic cholecystectomy for gallstones, and suffered from anxiety and insomnia before surgery because he had not received general anesthesia. After evaluation by the anesthesiologist, it was found that he was taking a diabetes drug SGLT2 inhibitor, and it was recommended to stop using it for at least 3 days before surgery to reduce the risk of intraoperative ketoacidosis. After adjusting medication and professional anesthesia evaluation, the operation was successfully completed and he was discharged from the hospital 2 days after the operation. The doctor reminded that high blood pressure medications, anticoagulants, and traditional Chinese medicine health products also need to be evaluated before surgery to ensure safety. News highlights: the U.S. Senate voted 48 to 47 to appoint Trump and White House Council of Economic Advisers Chairman Milan as a member of the Federal Reserve, Fed, for a term until the end of January 2026. He will retain his White House position without pay, the first Fed in a century. After Milan joins the Fed Board of Governors, it will participate in the interest rate decision-making meeting on the 16th and 17th, raising doubts about the independence of the Fed. The market generally expects the Fed to cut interest rates by 1 yard, and investment experts recommend focusing on the economy and corporate profits rather than political episodes. News highlights: ITRI held its 52nd anniversary celebration and the 14th Academician Accreditation Ceremony, announcing 5 new academicians covering the fields of semiconductors, engineering, and biomedicine, including TSMC SMI Yuja, Luo Weiren, CTCIU Junyuan, China Medical University CAI Qinghai, and National Taiwan University NI Yangsuan. Vice President Xiao Meiqin affirmed the contributions of academicians, and ITRI Chairman Wu Zhengzhong pointed out that in the future, it will focus on AI, chips, and cross-domain innovation, promote forward-looking technologies such as humanoid robots and unmanned vehicles, and strengthen Taiwan's international competitiveness in science and technology. News highlights: TSMC ex-dividend of 5 yuan on the 16th, and the stock price quickly filled the interest at the opening, reaching a new sky-high price of 1,270 yuan during the session, with a market value of 32.55 trillion yuan. The dividend will be paid on October 9, benefiting 157 shareholders. The largest shareholder, the National Development Fund, can receive about 82.68 billion yuan, Chairman Wei Zhijia can receive about 3,412 yuan, and founder Zhang Zongmu can receive 6.25 billion yuan if he does not reduce his holdings. TSMC's quarterly dividend system continues this year, with 5 yuan per quarter, and every ex-dividend date has attracted market attention. News highlights: Trump recently pressured pharmaceutical companies to lower U.S. drug prices, requiring pharmaceutical companies to raise prices in other countries to make up for profits, and threatened to ban sales in the United States if they did not comply. This policy extends the MFN mechanism, requiring international pharmaceutical companies to provide the lowest international price to the United States and cover Medicaid drugs. Experts pointed out that this move may cause pharmaceutical companies to raise prices in other countries or even withdraw from factories, and the reduction in drug prices in the United States will be limited, but health insurance and consumers in other countries will bear higher costs. News highlights: during this visit to Seoul, Doosan Fuel Cell and Doosan Robotics, a subsidiary of Doosan Group, respectively presented future strategies. In terms of fuel cells, Doosan will shift to green energy and hydrogen energy in line with government policies, especially in the U.S. market, where Hyaxium has expanded its layout, and renewable energy and fuel cells go hand in hand. In terms of robots, Doosan focuses on high-load collaborative robots, leading the market of more than 20 kilograms, covering coffee, catering and airport baggage handling, and has acquired Onexia in the United States to strengthen its layout. Overall, Doosan has a clear positioning and a clear strategy, and although it is still losing money, it is internationally competitive. News highlights: Dr. Hong Yongxiang, a nephrology specialist, reminds that high oil, high salt, high sugar and high temperature processed foods such as breakfast cereals, souffle bread, sesame cake fritters, pot stickers, meat floss, and sizzling noodles can easily cause chronic kidney damage when eaten for a long time, leading to edema, thirst, and kidney function deterioration. News highlights: Director Wang Yuja of Taipei Municipal United Hospital reminded that gallstones often cause right upper abdominal pain, flatulence, or jaundice after meals, and if the bile duct is blocked, it can cause acute cholecystitis, cholangitis, and even sepsis. The high-risk groups are obese, female, over 40 years old, and those who have had childbirth, and it is recommended that those with symptoms undergo early surgery and treatment, avoid greasy diets, and have regular health check UPS for prevention. News highlights: the shortlist for the 60th Golden Bell Awards in 2025 was announced, and Xiao S was once again shortlisted for the Variety Show Host Award for Miss Buxidai and confirmed to attend, which was her first public appearance since the death of Da S. For Xiao S, this is not only an affirmation of the show, but also an affectionate moment to return to the stage with the longing of his sister. News highlights: Qantas Techman Robot, 4585, was publicly subscribed on September 16 and is expected to be listed on September 26, with an underwriting price of 238 yuan per share, and a winning return of 180%. Techman is one of the world's top 3 collaborative robot factories, with AI visual recognition and can collaborate with people, and its products have been used in electronics, semiconductors, automobiles, and food production lines, making it a star company in Taiwan's robotics industry. News highlights: Nepal sparked nationwide protests last week as the government blocked social media, killing at least 50 people and leading to the collapse of the government. Experts point out that youth dissatisfaction with corruption, nepotism, and high unemployment has long accumulated. Social media has become a platform for collective action, and lockdowns and bans are only the fuse, highlighting social inequality and governance challenges in the digital age. News highlights: benefiting from the demand for AI servers and Nvidia's orders, the supply of the PCB industry chain is tight, especially the ABF carrier board has entered the stage of short supply. On the 16th, China Southern Electric closed its borders and rose by the daily limit, and Xinxiang and Jingshuo rose simultaneously. Foreign investors are optimistic that Nandian will make the most profits, with the target price raised to 280 yuan, and Xinxiang and Jingshuo have also raised their target prices. The legal person believes that AI demand will drive revenue growth, but Jingshuo still holds a conservative view on the oversupply of low-layer ABF and BT carrier boards. News highlights: this year's total sales of 928 stalls in the 6 capitals and Hsinchu were about 710.6 billion yuan, a decrease of nearly 30% compared to last year, the largest decline in history, with 312 entries, a year-on-year decrease of more than 20%. New Taipei and Dawin grew against the trend, while the volume of other cities generally declined, while Taichung, Taipei, Hsinchu, Tainan, and Kaohsiung were weak. The housing market is affected by tariff wars, mortgages, and central bank policies, and the overall wait-and-see sentiment is strong. News highlights: the Ministry of Agriculture's incentive scholarship for children of farmers and fishermen is open for application from September 16 to October 15, and parents who meet the qualifications of Agricultural Insurance and Farmers Associations/Fishermen's Associations, and whose children are studying in high school, vocational or junior colleges, have a conduct score of B or above, and whose annual income does not exceed 120 yuan can apply. The subsidy amount is 4,000 to 13,000 yuan, and private college students can still receive it if they have applied for the Ministry of Education's subsidy. News highlights: a fall accident occurred in Zhouying District, Kaohsiung City this morning, 16th, and a 13-year-old female junior high school student died on the balcony on the second floor of her community. The police initially ruled out the intervention of external forces, and there were no signs of fighting or damage at the scene, and the specific cause of the fall is still to be investigated. News highlights: the test operation of the new gas Unit 2 of Xingda Power Plant exploded and caused the shutdown of the new Unit 1, coupled with the failure of Lingkao coal-fired Unit 2, the power supply was tight. Taipower urgently started Xingda Units 3 and 4, and even reconnected Xingda Unit 2, which has been decommissioned for more than 40 years, to maintain a backup capacity of more than 6%. Officials emphasize that old units are only used in extreme emergencies, but the outside world doubts that the power supply situation is more severe than the official statement. News highlights: a spontaneous combustion accident occurred on the high-speed rail on the evening of September 13, causing minor burns to 3 people. Minister of Transportation Chen Shikai pointed out that the power bank itself is safe, but those from unknown sources or non-compliant specifications may be dangerous. So far in 2023, 5 power banks have been recalled, with a total of 37,683 units. Fire experts remind that lithium batteries should be cooled by clips in cold water buckets to avoid reignition. News highlights: presbyopia eye drops were recently developed and unveiled in Europe, using pilocarpine to improve near vision through meiosis, and studies have shown that the effect can last for 2 years. Wu Picheng, a professor of ophthalmology at Chonggung in Kaohsiung, reminded that long-term use may cause meiosis and continuous contraction of the ciliary muscle, increasing the difficulty of future cataract surgery. News highlights: a family of 3 in China suffered from a rare hereditary kidney disease Alport syndrome. The mother and brother had uremia, and the youngest son Xiaoyang was also diagnosed with foamy urine. The brothers have completed kidney transplants, and their mother still needs peritoneal dialysis. Experts remind that if there are multiple cases of kidney disease in the family, genetic testing should be done early, and timely treatment can reduce genetic risks. News highlights: the Tamjiang Bridge will be open to traffic in May 2026, bringing 2.5 million traffic per day, becoming a new transportation hub and landmark on the north coast. However, a large red cloth strip that read "Welcome to the most people-friendly President Li" for inspection appeared at the event site, causing netizens to be sarcastic, questioning that the scene was like North Korea, and Congressman Chen Wuja also responded humorously. News highlights: 5 common vegetables in daily life: celery, broccoli, carrots, onions, and large tomatoes, are rich in phytochemicals such as apigenin, sulforaphane, luteolin, quercetin, and lycopene, which can promote apoptosis of damaged cells, inhibit tumor growth and reduce the risk of cancer. News highlights: singer Lu Sweryui released a new single "When You Fall, There Is Me," turning his past financial difficulties and anxieties into music. After coming out of the haze, he expresses himself through music and theater creation, and also values health and life balance. News highlights: a man surnamed Chen, the owner of Hualian gas shop and a 48-year-old bicycle celebrity brother Carp, died in a fatal accident in the parking lot of Meili Swejian after participating in the Taiwan Mountaineering Grand Slam. He was enthusiastic about helping others, often sponsoring school children and lending expensive wheels, leaving behind 2 young children. News highlights: the DPP Legislative Yuan Caucus was originally rumored to have a cadre shortage, but due to the lack of faction pressure, no one dared to use the CO signing, and the refusal of 30% of the Green Committee members to sign, Ke Jianming's re-election until February next year was almost a foregone conclusion. Li King took the initiative to shoulder his responsibilities, emphasizing the autonomy of the party and caucuses, and the party's Central Committee also decided that he would fight side by side with Lau Ke in the news session. News highlights: an engineer in his 40s suffered from stage 3 colorectal cancer due to a long-term high oil, high sugar, and low fiber diet, often eating pork rib bento boxes and fried foods for late-night snacks. Doctors remind that unbalanced diet can change the intestinal flora and increase the risk of early-onset colorectal cancer. Abnormal bowel movements should be checked early. The third stage is surgically combined with chemotherapy, and the 5-year survival rate is nearly 70%, and regular colonoscopy is the best way to prevent cancer. News highlights: the popularity of Sanma Stinky Pot has not diminished, and the Taichung Zaitan store has attracted a large number of people because of its deliciousness, and netizens are willing to queue up for 45 minutes just for one pot. The discussion set off a warm resonance, with many people calling it Zaitan Sanma is super strong, and also named the new Taipei Shulin and Taichung Fengjia branches as must-eats. The charm of Stinky Pot crosses the sea, and mainland netizens also can't forget the taste of Taiwan, describing it as reminding me of it every once in a while. News highlights: the Broadway magical musical Chocolate Adventure Factory will be performed on December 17th, first at the Taipei Pop Music Center, and then moved to Kaohsiung Weiwing in January next year. Sui Tang incarnated as the Gilded Goddess platform on the 15th, sharing his love for the work and looking forward to taking his children to watch it. Created by the original director and tour director, the musical combines 3D visual effects, magic illusions, and immersive scenes, with actors singing representative songs live to present a dreamy spectacle, and tickets go on sale from noon on September 17th. News highlights: internet celebrity Wan Wanner shared her experience of delivering bento boxes on the 15th, and a 3 treasure rice plus delivery fee totaled 171 yuan, which made her say, "I really can't afford it." She lamented that prices are disproportionate to salaries, reflecting the pressure of modern life and the difficulty of saving money, which resonated with many netizens. News highlights: the Kuomintang chairman election will be held on October 16th, and 8 people have already expressed their candidacy. Former President Ma Ying-jeou today supported legislator Luo's Haiqiang through a video, praising him for his complete experience in election campaigns, national affairs, party affairs, and Congress, and he is also a community brother. Ma emphasized that the Kuomintang should change generations and called for handing over the baton to Luo's Haiqiang to lead the party back to power. News highlights: according to the latest survey by the Taiwan Public Opinion Foundation, President Lai Ching-te's popularity has hit a low point, with only 33% agreeing with his way of handling national affairs, and 25.1% more disapprove, equivalent to more than 500 people. Support has fallen by 16% in the past 3 months, losing about 310 people. Chairman Yu Yinglong analyzed that public grievances continue to accumulate, and Lai King's policy adjustments have failed to reverse the decline. News highlights: the latest mirror poll shows that in the Kaohsiung mayoral election, DPP legislator Lai Rulong led the Kuomintang KZN's 38.5% with 41.8% support, with a gap of 3.3 percentage points temporarily gaining the upper hand. Su's Hija only won 0.9%, Lin Dewa and Kei Cheng were tied, and Chu Yiying was 4% behind. In the 3 indicators of intra-party comparison, optimism, and mention rate, Lai Rulong also ranked first, indicating that he has advantages in the party's primary election competition and public expectations, but KZN's strength cannot be ignored. News highlights: U.S. President Trump announced that the U.S. military sank a suspected drug transport ship from Venezuela in international waters around South America on the 15th, killing 3 people, which was the second similar operation in 2 weeks. Trump emphasized that this move targets drug terrorists and prevents drugs from entering the United States. However, the outside world questioned the lack of basis for self-defense, which may involve disputes under international law. The United States has also increased its military presence in the Caribbean, and the situation has heated up. News highlights: the latest mirror poll shows that in the Kaohsiung mayoral election, DPP legislator Lai Rulong led the Kuomintang KZN's 38.5% with 41.8% support, with a gap of 3.3 percentage points temporarily gaining the upper hand. Su's Hija only won 0.9%, Lin Dewa and Kei Cheng were tied, and Chu Yiying was 4% behind. In the 3 indicators of intra-party comparison, optimism, and mention rate, Lai Rulong also ranked first, indicating that he has advantages in the party's primary election competition and public expectations, but KZN's strength cannot be ignored. News highlights: the Ministry of Agriculture will accept applications for incentive for the children of farmers and fishermen from now on to help reduce the educational burden on farmers and fishermen's families. All children, including grandchildren, of agricultural insurance insured, regular members of agricultural associations, or Class A members of fishermen's associations, who are studying in domestic high schools, vocational schools, colleges, and universities, and meet the conditions of income and grades, can apply for subsidies. Those who study in private colleges and universities can receive up to 1.3 yuan per semester. News highlights: meteorological expert Wu Durong reminded that there will be a tropical disturbance over the eastern sea of the Philippines later this week, and the probability of forming a typhoon has risen to 70%. The probability of rainfall in the eastern half and mountainous areas will gradually increase in the next few days, and local heavy thunderstorms are not ruled out. The high temperature will drop slightly from Thursday and it will still be hot, and the periphery of the tropical system may affect the rainfall in North Taiwan and Yuhua next Monday. News highlights: the 230 billion yuan Tamjiang Bridge completed the closing ceremony this morning, 16th, and is expected to open to traffic in May 2026, shortening the 8-mile drive from Tamsui to about 25 minutes. The bridge tower adopts a 3D curved surface design, and the foundation needs to be supported by 144 steel pipe piles, and the construction team has overcome many engineering challenges, and the steel structure welding technology has reached the level of a nuclear power plant. The bridge is Taiwan's first international competition design, bringing together professionals from multiple countries, and will become an important landmark upon completion.